Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at this week's Sunday preview. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. Sunday preview. Celebrate Middle-earth with a made-to-order diorama. Next week's pre-orders are a rather hushed affair, not least because we're hiding under the tables trying to avoid the gaze of the office ring wraith. Something has wound him up, which might have something to do with next week's centerpiece pre-order, an amazing Middle-earth diorama. There's also a new Blood Bowl star player and this month's White Dwarf. So there is a little video to go along with it, but we're going to skip through that and take a look at the full article. Get Off the Road, made to order. Originally revealed at Warhammer Fest 2023, Get Off the Road is a celebration of one of the most recognizable scenes from The Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring. Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin cower in a hollow beneath the roots in an ancient tree as a ring wraith stalks nearby, sensing the presence of the One Ring, which Frodo is dangerously close to putting on. So this is pretty cool. They showed it off. It's definitely got a ton of detail in it. With like the texture of the trees and everything, and the kind of like wraparound of the little vegetation and everything. I do really like this. I think this is a cool little diorama. It feels a little bit like over sculpted to me. I guess it's just like my personal preference, but Games Workshop normally does a really good job of adding in the perfect amount of detail. It's sort of like they know exactly what details and how much of them you need to make a model look good when it's fully painted up. For some reason, I feel like with this, there's just a little bit too much texture. Maybe it's just accentuated by the actual like paint job itself, and it's sort of like the contrast between the darks and the lights. But there's something just not quite Games Workshop-y about this, if that makes sense. And this is pretty neat too. This is something that FORGEWORLD did with the new Horus model. Basically made it so that the actual like display base itself is completely removable, and then you have actual pieces that you can play in a game, which is pretty cool. This highly detailed resin diorama display comes apart for easy painting, and the ring wraith is mounted on a gaming base for use in the Middle-earth strategy battle game. This diorama is a treat for painters of all abilities, and it will be made available on a made-to-order basis starting on Saturday the 12th of August until 8 a.m. on Monday the 21st of August. Please note that as a made-to-order product, delivery can take up to 180 days. Alternatively, it will be available to buy at Warhammer World from the 12th of August. So very cool. As long as you know for sure you want this, you order it from the 12th of August. Before the 21st of August, you will be guaranteed this product. Made-to-order usually doesn't take the full 180 days, but it can. So it is worth making a note of that there's potential it could be 6 months before you get this thing. So pretty neat. I like this. It's a fun display piece. It is from FORGEWORLD, so we know it's going to be pricey. And again, I like it. It's cool. The idea and everything is great, but there's just something kind of off about it for me. Let me know if you're feeling the same way about this. Like there's just something not quite right. And next we've got a Blood Bowl star player, Bilerot Vomitflesh. Wilhelm von Mitflesh was on track to becoming one of the Blood Bowl's biggest stars before he let parties and excess get into his way. Down on his luck and riddled with infection, Nurgle took pity on him and transformed him into a Bilerot Vomitflesh. Now a noxious wrecking ball of a player, Bilerot can be hired by any favored of Nurgle team, drenching opposing players in a stream of vomit that is disgusting as it sounds. Thankfully, he redeems himself time and time again thanks to this delightful Nurgling resting on his shoulder. So pretty cool model. I do like the paint job on this. They've done a really good job kind of like coloring the flesh where it's like torn up here. And then also he sort of has like that weird stuff going on his fingers as well. Really nice looking model right here in a strange way. I do like it. Very cool. Nice detail. He's definitely a chunky boy meant for Blood Bowl. And next we have a White Dwarf 491. We head deeper into the bunker with this month's White Dwarf as the studio carry on their Combat Patrol League and present readers with a new mission for Warhammer 40,000 and Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and the framework for this month-long Warhammer Underworlds League. The rest of the magazine is packed full of amazing content, including warcry rules for the Questers Soulstorm and Royal Beast Slayers, a dedicated section on creating tile seps, and words of wisdom from the studio covering a variety of topics. So that is cool that they're throwing in the Quester Soulstorm and the Royal Beast Slayer rules. Okay, so I did double check really quick, and both of those new Warcry warbands, the Quester Soulstorm and the Royal Beast Slayers, do in fact come with your fighter and ability cards and everything like that. But if you didn't buy those sets, maybe if you were going to proxy in some of your own models or something like that, you could alternatively have access to the rules from this White Dwarf. So that is cool. Or you could just use the internet, but the internet doesn't cost $11, so. White Dwarf is sort of in a strange situation because I have had a subscription to White Dwarf for literally years, decades at one point in time, and I haven't had one recently nor do I really see the appeal. Now, they were doing some cool stuff with Kill Team where they were releasing it in there and they were giving out like the actual cards and everything as like a little flyer in the middle with like punched out pieces. You could pull them out and then you have access to the cards for the various kill teams and everything. I definitely thought that was cool and it gave me an incentive to buy the White Dwarfs. I think if they put more like cool game aids and like useful things in there, stuff that maybe they would want people to have or people want to have, but it's not necessarily worth selling as an individual product, I think that tons and tons of people would sign up for White Dwarf. You would also think that they would maybe do some kind of collab between like White Dwarf and Warhammer Plus. So you got like some kind of discount to one or the other by having the one. Because I would think if you get people to sign up for White Dwarf, it's going to be easier to get those people to sign up for Warhammer Plus as well. And then alternatively, if you get them to sign up for Warhammer Plus, it's probably pretty easy to get them to pull the trigger on something like White Dwarf also. So I would imagine there's some kind of like marketing thing that they could do there, because it definitely feels like White Dwarf is one of those things. If it's not in a shop right in front of you to where you can pick it up, or it's not something specifically that you're going to like seek it out for, I'm just not sure how relevant it is anymore. But there's definitely something there. I mean, there's a lot of people like me that have had it for years that if there was something in there worth seeing on a regular basis, I would pick it up. Let me know if you have a subscription to White Dwarf or Warhammer Plus. Always curious to hear your guys' opinions and see, because I definitely think there's some part of a gap that could be bridged there, where a lot of the people would be interested in one would also be interested in the other. And if there was some sort of like small incentive or something like that, a like bundle deal or discount, I think a lot of extra people would sign up for one or the other. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now, back to the video. All right, and then next we have Realmslayer, Legend of the Doomseeker, Limited Edition. After swearing an oath to die in battle, Gotrek Gurnisson somehow managed to live through the death of the world that was. Thrust into the Age of Sigmar, his oath is now in tatters. His companion Felix is lost, and chaos is in its ascendancy. In a world so alien to him, Gotrek is presented with a singular thread of hope. The God King Sigmar reforges worthy souls into Stormcast Eternals, and so surely Felix must be amongst them. David Gaimar's Realmslayer, Legend of the Doomseeker was the audio drama that brought Gotrek into the mortal realms, and it's now being released in an edited novel format for the first time. This limited edition is numbered and signed by the author, as well as containing a foreword by David Gaimar. Presented with die-cast emblem on the cloth cover, this hardy tome also features a leather effect spine, orange page edges, interior artwork of Gotrek, and a golden orange ribbon bookmark. Also included is a short story, One Untended. This edition is limited to just 1,250 copies, so act fast to fulfill your oath. So only 1,250 copies, and Gotrek is a very popular character. I would imagine this will sell out relatively quickly. Seen a lot of the limited edition stuff gone in minutes, so I suspect this will be one of those. And that is 1,250 worldwide, signed and numbered, so very cool. And then we'll go ahead and wrap up this week's pre-orders with God's Bane from Dale Lucas. The Lumineth lore seeker Thelena Evanfall is pulled from the scholarly pursuit into the world of warring armies. Betrayal and bloodshed as knowledge of a weapon with the power to kill a deity comes to light. Discover this tale of political machinations as trusted allies and insidious cults all vie for control of a powerful artifact in God's Bane by Dale Lucas. Available to pre-order in paperback format next week. So that is it for this week's pre-orders. Definitely some exciting stuff coming. For those of you who are after the Lord of the Rings, Get Off the Road diorama, I'm sure this is exciting. It is a pretty cool piece and definitely a nice little display. Looks like this will be a nice little week off from Games Workshop purchases for me. Let me know what you're going to be picking up this week if you're excited for this. Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. Special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the video. Link in the description to save 15% on Games Workshop. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.